And so when you talk about follow up for how long, right? One, you want to follow up until they enroll, obviously. You want to follow up until they give you referrals. So you know what, this is not for me. I really appreciate what you guys do, and I've seen the results, and I see what this thing can be for me, but it's just not for me. But at this point in time, I do have some people, like since you asked for some referrals, I do have some people that I know travel, who need some a plan B, or who's looking to do something totally different. Well, I know some people who are in, and the thing about referrals, ladies and gentlemen, referrals are amazing. Referrals are huge. That's third party credibility. That's a person, when you get a referral, you walk right into that transaction without having to convince anybody, because that person was referred to you by somebody that they know, that they like, and that they trust. So you're automatically on a position where now that person's looking at you and looking at what you're talking about with credibility. Okay. And so make sure you get as many referrals as you can. Now, another thing about referrals I want to bring up here, if a person says, you know what, this is not for me, and I am going to give you a list of referrals though, what happens is this: when you take those referrals and you turn those referrals into people who are going to start to build a business. Now, before you put that referral in the system, right, you want to give that other person a call back. Say, hey, Tanya, I know you were going to get ready to get started, and something came up and you say, you know what, it's not for me, you change your mind. But when you sent me Paulette, okay, Paulette is ready to get started. I already have her application right here. She's getting started first class. And what I wanted to do with you, since you referred her to me, and I know you had some interest, I want to give you an opportunity to come into business first and recruit her personally. Okay. Obviously, you'll make way more money than I will in this transaction, but for me, it's not about the money. It's for me providing, what you said you wanted when we first started talking, which was an extra $3,000 a month. And so now we can take those resources that you brought to the table, and we can now start building toward that goal that you said you wanted to accomplish. So you take those referrals, right? And that person who was about to get started, if they say no, the next referral that gets started, you do the same exact thing, okay? And you take that referral, get that referral started, but don't put them in the system and go right back to Tanya. Tanya, hey, David is ready to get started now. And you know David, the real estate guy, the one who's doing real estate all over Atlanta, that guy's getting ready to get started. And he's got a huge Rolodex of people, and you want to get started before David. And not like, just like last time, I'll offer you that was the same deal. You get started, you enroll David, and I'll put you in, right? So now I can tell you right now, it's a whole lot harder for her to miss this one. The first time you think it's a fluke. The second time, we're on purpose. This thing is working. That everybody is doing what you said you wanted to do, but you're too scared to do, okay? And that's the other thing, just be patient with people, ladies and gentlemen. Take them through the process. And when I say be patient, patient doesn't mean go slow. Patience, means go fast, but follow the system, while you're going fast. Be on purpose while you're going fast, and understanding that things are going to happen in due time, in its time, not your time, okay? So be patient. That's the thing about following up. Following up is a commitment, okay? It's something that it's a process, a part of the process that you have to be relentless at, and you got to get those deals closed. And I can tell you, for those of you who get good at this, or even great at this, it won't take you 5 follow-ups, okay? Well, you can probably get it done in 2 to 3 follow-ups. You want to always be better than the averages. And by going out there and mastering this process, that nobody else is mastering, they're taking it lightly, you'll always be one of the top producers in whatever company that you're in, okay? But the other thing is that you follow up until they tell you to stop, okay? Once they tell you to stop, that's fine. What you do is this: they're probably your Facebook friend, or your Instagram friend, or whatever it is, IG, LinkedIn. They're probably your friends some kind of way on social media. What happens is now they get a chance to watch you win, and they're not watching you. You make sure they watch you win, but not out of spite. You make sure that they watch you win because, again, it's more and more social proof that gets a chance to, gives you a chance to drip on them indirectly. Okay. And so remember, there's only 6 degrees of separation out there. So everybody who knows them, and I can tell you, or knows somebody who knows them. So the good news will always come back around to them. So you just keep on living your life. You keep on building your business. You keep on taking everything that you're supposed to take and mastering it. And at some point in time, a lot of those people will come back to you and say, you know what, are you still doing that thing? Are you still in travel? Or are you still in iBuumerang? Are you still doing Vibe Rides? Are you still in telecommunications? Or whatever we go into, going forward. But at some point in time, they'll come back. You just give them their space. Don't be like everybody else and be a hound. Just give them their space. Don't act needy. Don't have a scarcity mentality. No, there's a ton of people out there, and make sure that all of them end up in your pipeline. Okay. And so with that, I want to say this. If you ever find yourself, saying, I have to get back to the basics, that means that you got away from them. Okay. Always stick with the basics. When you look at myself, in this industry, I've always told people, and I've always been transparent, I may not ever be the best speaker. I may not ever be the best trainer, the best presenter. But the one thing I will be the best at is not quitting. I'll always be the best at doing what's required. Regards to what the level of quality that it's done on, I will always do what's required. I will always be consistent, and so, just stay with the basics. And I can tell you, when you look at people like Tim Duncan, Tim Duncan, I call him the big fundamental. Everybody calls him the big fundamental. There's nothing exciting about Tim Duncan, but he's always where you want him to be. He's always around the basket, getting the rebound, around the basket, laying the ball up off the backboard, around the basket, giving an assist to somebody that's cutting to the basket. But the one thing he'll always be is in the Hall of Fame with 4 rings. When you look at Kevin Garnett, the big ticket. He sold some tickets, right? Made some big contracts, got a lot of people excited. He's got 1 ring, okay? 1 ring. What do you want? Okay, you want to win, one time, or you want to win forever?